Today's community call is mainly about using the OpenAI plugin that is supported by ToolJet and creating an application on top of it. So a lot of people have been requesting to me that can you do a community call based on OpenAI? So I thought like why not? And we have a lot of people that came up for this call. So I'm really happy. I will try my best to provide you with maximum value. Anyway, what today's community call will be about is creating an OpenAI powered application using ToolJet. The use case is pretty much unlimited. It is based on your creativity on what you can use it for or what is your particular use case. Anyway, let's get started. Yeah. The major agenda over here is that I will be introducing the OpenAI plugin to you. Then I will show you how you can configure your own OpenAI uh, details in ToolJet and start using it. Then I will walk you through a step-by-step demonstration of building an internal application with OpenAI. And then I can show you how you can create your own prompt effectively in your application so that you can get the required data. Then again, I will show you the application demo of whatever we have made. Then for you to further use OpenAI much betterly, I can tell you a bunch of use cases that we could potentially explore. And finally, I will have a Q&A session with you where you can ask me questions if you want to know whether something is possible or if you have any questions regarding the process. So let's get started. Okay. So some of you might have already known that we have been supporting OpenAI plugin. So you can basically use OpenAI for completion and for chatting with the OpenAI plugin like you chat with ChatGPT. And you can generate initial prompt or you can generate a response using the prompt. And yeah, basically you can do anything like that. For example, if you go into your tooljet application, if you go into data source, we are currently supporting a lot of data source. So if you scroll down below over here, you can see that in one of the plugins, we are supporting OpenAI as a plugin. So just click on add over here and you can add the OpenAI plugin to your data sources that are available. So for example, now that you know that OpenAI plugin is available, there are a bunch of use cases that you can do, right? So if you want to configure OpenAI, you will have to get your own OpenAI key. That is the configuration part of thing that I can show you is that you need to get your own OpenAI key from openai.com. Try logging in, and it will ask you whether you want to use ChatGPT or you want to use the API. And in our use case, we need the API key. Okay, so just go into the API key, and if you go into settings over here, or you can generate your own API key over here. Just generate a new API key for your use case. For example, I already have it, so I won't be generating one, but you can generate one like this by creating one and create secret key. Yeah, currently OpenAI, this is a disclaimer. Currently, OpenAI, I think, disabled it for free plan, so you might need to get a paid plan to make it work. Okay. Anyway, once you have it, you can just come over here, click on edit, paste it over here, and you can test the connection. I already have it over here. Let me just show you. I already have one over here. So if everything is all right, once you paste over here, you can test the connection, and it should give you a connection verified green signal. So if this much is pretty much done, then that means that you have already configured OpenAI for ToolJet as a data source or as a plugin, you could say, and you can start using it for your application when you're creating it. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how you can potentially build a internal application with OpenAI. So before that, I can show you the demo application that I have for today. For example, this is a simple application where I have a customer review database of a product, and I can choose any of the reviews. I can select it over here, and I can see the customer data that is shown over here. And then I can see that the customer review that is shown over here. So if I click on get AI analysis, right now what I'm doing with OpenAI is that I'm trying to analyze the sentiment of this, and I'm trying to return whether it is positive, neutral, or negative. So I'm going to click on get AI analysis, and it is saying that review is positive. So as you can see, this review is positive. Let me just take a negative review. This one should be negative review. Yeah. So this one should return it as negative. So once you click on get AI analysis, it shows that review is negative. So what I did on this application is that I'm reviewing, or I'm getting the sentiment of the review, and I'm classifying it as negative, positive, or neutral. So this is a simple application that you can do. Second thing is that I am actually creating a product category, and I have to publish this to Amazon or wherever you want to publish it. So before that, I need to check whether everything is optimized. The title is optimized clearly, whether detail is optimized clearly. So I'm going to click on edit over here. And using AI, I want to regenerate the title to something much more clear and a much more, you could say, much more catching, eye-catching. So I'm going to click on regenerate. And it's going to say that uh, the current title is regenerate to something that is a bit more catchy and something a bit more, you could say, a bit more defined. I can even regenerate the description over here. I'm going to click on regenerate, and it's going to regenerate the description also for me. If you're satisfied with it, you can click on save. And yeah, everything that we did is actually reflected over here. So this is another application where I'm using ChatGPT to create a product description and a product title accordingly to everything that we need, right? So I can show you the step-by-step tutorial on how you can create your own one. So let's go through that. First of all, go to your dashboard. As usual, create a new application. So I'm going to create an application. I'm going to name it OpenAI example. So I'm going to create the application right now. Now, for the first application, we need three things. That is a table and two containers with text inputs and buttons, right? So let me drag the table. So yeah, I created a table. Now let's have two containers. So first container is for showing the details as shown over here. Let's have one more container that is to show the review. Yeah, fine. Now in this container, we need few things. A title just showing that customer detail. Customer detail. And another text over here showing just name it anything you want. I'm gonna just type review, customer review, whatever you want to name it. Okay, let's just make it a bit bold. Yeah, so that it will feel like a title. Good. Now we'll just have two text over here so that we can show whatever we have selected from the table when we are selecting it. Let's have one more text. Yeah, and over here we need another text. And yeah, and we need one button to update it. And then we need one text to show whether the review is positive, negative, or whatever it is accordingly with the review that is given. Now, the next part is the important part. We need a few things. We need a database that is, for this example, I have already created a Postgres database that I can link into this, but you can add your own database over here. For example, I created a dummy database over here. That is, yeah, I'm gonna input or select star from my database. So yeah, right now, as you can see, I already have loaded data over here. Now I have to link it to the table, right? So for linking it to the table, I'm gonna just add it over here. So the data is coming from queries.postgresql1.data. Yeah, as you can see, the data from the table is loaded over here. So you can also do something. You can customize the database, the table accordingly to what you want. For example, if I don't want to show if I want to show the review over here, I can do that. Currently, the reviews over here, I can even expand it over here so that it will be like more visible. I can literally do anything with the table. You can customize it accordingly to your needs. By going to a styles table, I can even put as a stripe table, whatever so. Fully customizable. Okay. Now for this one, what you have to do is, here I want to get the data from whatever we are selecting. For example, if I am selecting this. Yeah, I'm selecting that. Now this data should be the name. Okay. So components dot table one dot selected row, that is the selected row dot name, and it will be shown over here. Now let's show one more data. That is, I want to show the email. So the same thing only. I have to give it over here. That is components dot table one dot selected row dot email. Yeah. So currently I am selecting the second one, for example, and it will change dynamically accordingly to your needs. Cool. Let's do the same thing over here, but this time for the review. So it is components dot table one dot selected row dot, I think the review's name is text. Yeah. And it will be shown over here. So if in any case your table's column name is different, you can even edit it over here. For example, I have it given as text. So for this example, I just want to give it as review, and it will automatically change over here from text to review. Yeah, as you can see, everything is perfect. Now we have almost everything. Now we just need one more thing. That is to this one. I'm gonna, for example, I'm gonna put it over here like this. Now, what I want to do is I have to now edit this, or I want to check the sentiment of this. So we already configured OpenAI for this project, right? So I'm going to click on add. I'm going to click on OpenAI. Now for the operation, like I said earlier, we have two operations, that is completion and chat. For this one, I'm going to add a prompt, right? So I'm going to click on chat. Now we need to maintain the prompt or create the prompt, or you could say crafting the prompt. This is where you can be as creative as possible. For example, using prompt effectively in your application, I'm going to tell the OpenAI to tell me whether the sentiment is positive, negative, or neutral only, accordingly to what I need. So you can type it like this. You can ask it to act as a reviewer and give me a review accordingly to the dataset that you are needing. For example, over here, I have given it normally. So let me show you that only. Tell me whether the review is positive, negative. This is the prompt again, negative or neutral. And you need to link this down below. So for that, components dot table one dot selected row. Yeah. Now let me just run and see whether this is positive, negative, or neutral. Yeah. As usual, it is showing positive. So now you can add it to this button. So let me change the button name to get AI analysis. And I'm going to add a new event handler. In this event handler, the moment you click on it, what should it do? It should run the query. So I'm going to click on run query, and I'm going to click on the query as OpenAI. And yeah, this query will run. At the same time, what you can do is the moment this query is completed, I can add an event listener over here. Or what I can do is I can link everything over here. For example, queries dot OpenAI dot data positive. Yeah. And I can just say review is positive, right? So let's test it out. I'm gonna test something else. Let me take a negative one. Not satisfied with the product. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna click on get AI analysis. The moment I click on it, this prompt will get run. So get AI analysis. Yeah. So it's gonna update automatically saying that the review is negative. So this is a simple application where you can check whether the review is positive, negative, or neutral accordingly to your needs. Any doubts on this one or any doubt till now? I can clear it and go if anybody has any doubt regarding this or whether any use case or whatever. Any doubt? Sure. Then I can show, we have a lot of time, so I can show one more application where you can use OpenAI and create another application. So for example, let me create another page. So page is an option that is there in ToolJet. You can create a new page and create a new application over here only. I'm going to go to my second page once again. App 2. Click on enter. Right now I'm in my second page. Now for the second application, like I said, we will be creating this list where you can ask OpenAI to act as a product developer or a product marketer and give you proper title or proper description accordingly to your needs. So for creating this, we are gonna need a list. So let me just drag the list down. Yeah. So the list is created. And now we just need to add data from database over here. And for this example, last example, I used PostgreSQL. And for this example, I wanted to demonstrate to you guys that we already have a database built in. If you checked out the dashboard over here, you can just go to, yeah, databases. And you will be able to see that we have our own database that is created. And for this example, I'm going to use this database that I preloaded with data. That is, I'm going to preload, I've already preloaded it with multiple data of multiple products that I'm going to use and link it into this. So you can create your own database using ToolJet over here, and you can use it, or you could get your external database like I did for the earlier application. Okay, so for this example, since I already have the ToolJet database, I'm going to use that. So I'm going to click ToolJet database. Let me, you can rename the database accordingly to your need. So product database. Yeah. Now I'm gonna, for the table name, I already have the table that I create. That is the product table. Now the operation is simple. I just want to read data. So I'm gonna click on list rows. We have other options like create, update, delete, and join tables. Now just click on run and it should be listing all the rows. Yeah. As you can see, all the details regarding the product is listed over here. Now the next important part is that unlike you put it on a table, you need to individually do it for list, as in you need to link everything together. I'll just show you how you can do it. So I'm going to link the queries from our product DB over here. Dot, yeah. And this will be linked over here. Now you might see that everything is broken. So you need to individually list items over here from the database. That is list item dot product image that I got it. Yeah, that is listed. Now let's list the product name. So list item dot product name, that is done. Let's have one text input for the this thing description. So let's do the same thing for product description. Fine, excellent. Yeah. Let's increase the size a little bit so that you can work on it. And for the row size also, the row height also you can define over here. I think 150 should be sufficient, and it is defined. Let me just increase the size of the description. Excellent. And for, since this is a product title, you can style it a little bit. I'm gonna keep this as bolder. Okay. Now we need one this thing button for editing the data over here with OpenAI. So I'm gonna put this button as I'm gonna name it as one second. Yeah, I'm gonna name it as edit for this example. You can name it anything you want. We also need one more thing that you might need it if you want to update individually each row. So if when you're updating a table in any database, you might need to update it accordingly to the ID. So in this case, it will be beneficial if you have your ID. I will show you, for example, when I'm updating it. For now, I can explain it why I'm putting the ID. So this list item, just let me put it as ID. List item dot ID. Yeah. Okay, fine. So Now what we need is we need a model. Then what we need to have an OpenAI another prompt. Actually, we need two OpenAI prompt, one for editing the title and second one for editing the description. Fine. Then we need to have another ToolJet database prompt for updating the title into our database, right? And one more thing maybe you can do is you can either drag a model over here. Let me show you. You can have a model over here, drag down. And when you click on the model, as you can see, a model will pop up. So you can either put it over here and you can disable the default trigger button. And you can, this is a normal button and you can add the function over here. For example, if you add a new event handler, on click, I want to control or I want to show model. And you can open this model using the click of this button right now. I'm going to click it and the model will open up, right? Cool. So that is something you can do, or either you can just simply directly drag the model over here and you can use the default button and go for it. Cool. So now let's go on to important stuff. Let's create the model also. So I'm going to click on the model. And in this, you might want to change the title. You can change the title accordingly to your need. So for example, for this model, I'm going to change the title as, I'll show you. Let me just open the trigger for editing purposes. Yeah, I'm going to change the title as product info. And the title will be changed. Inside this, we need a few things. If you remember our application, inside this, we have a input, two text input, and three buttons, right? So let's have 2 to 3 text input. Yeah. This is the first text input. Let's have one more text input. And you can customize the label and everything. This is one of the latest features that we released. Earlier, it was a pain because you had to track the input text input down and you had to track a separate text. Right now, we linked a label together so that it will be much easier and much convenient for you to create it. So for this text input, let's put it as product name. And for the second term, let's put it as product description. And I want to style it a little bit. I don't like the fact that my label is on the left side of the text input. I want it to be on the top. So that is also possible. If you go to styling, alignment, you can put it on the top. So now your text input will be on the top. I mean, your label will be on the top. And again, you can customize everything related to it. If I want the text background or text color to be changed, that can also be done. If I want it on the right side, the alignment can be changed to right side. Everything is doable. Nothing fully customizable over here. Nothing very complicated. Let me just increase the size of this by a little. And product name also, let me increase the size a bit. Yeah. Now we need three more buttons, right? Two for regenerating, two regenerative buttons, and one for saving it. Yeah. Okay, you can customize it accordingly. Any questions till now? If anybody has any questions, now would be the best time before I go into creating the next prompt. Anybody has any questions? You can put it down in the chat if you don't want to unmute yourself. Any questions?
Hi, Alan.
Yeah.
So my question is that if I want to send multiple chats to OpenAI, and then how can we can do it?
Multiple chats, as in you want to proceed with like multiple prompts, you could say.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so currently what you have to do is you need to have a, for this prompt, actually I'm going to explain it right now. So for the first one, I'm going to have a separate prompt. Second one, I'm going to have a separate prompt. For example, you need to have multiple OpenAIs, this thing over here, multiple OpenAI prompt individually generated over here. Or if you want to like link multiple things together, you could either have a prompt over here, and the moment it completes, you can add a event listener to run the second prompt. You can do it exactly
No,
like that.
my question is that like that if the review is positive, then
Okay.
then I want to know more about the review. Then I can type another question and OpenAI can reply the second answer. In
Yeah,
that,
sure. Maybe something that I can think of is that we actually have a option to run JavaScript code. So the moment it says that it is positive, for example, let me just show you. It might be like much clear to you. So let me just say that um, var uh, example equal to I can have this thing the query that I generated over here. For example, I can set a variable over here. I think that will be better. Yeah. So this one, if it's gonna return positive, right? Over here, I can proceed it and store it in a variable over here. And I can use a normal if statement to check whether it is positive, negative, or neutral. And accordingly to that, if it is positive, I can have a query to run another query and check whether more details regarding the review, if that makes sense.
okay, in that case, I have to send the total chat.
Uh, Pardon? I didn't understand. Total?
There is a question,
Mhm.
ChatGPT answered me.
Yeah.
If I have a second question, then I have to send ChatGPT the first question and first answer, then my second question in this
Yeah.
fashion.
Yeah. You can craft the prompt accordingly to it. For example, it's more about crafting the prompt. So you need to be as accurate as possible. Otherwise, like if I, for example, if I just ask ChatGPT to tell me the sentiment, tell
Yes.
me the sentiment for this. Let me just select a table. Yeah. Tell me the sentiment for this. It's probably gonna, give you a bland reply rather than a, very accurate reply, right? So you have to craft it accordingly. So right now what I did was that I asked the ChatGPT to reply only in positive, negative, or neutral, so that I can know that the predefined value is already being sent and I can craft a run.js value or run.js JavaScript code accordingly with that. Otherwise, it's gonna probably give me a paragraph or a statement rather than a proper reply, if that makes sense.
Yeah, understood. Thanks, sir.
Okay, no problem. Okay, let's continue. Okay, right now over here, we have created all the base things. Now the only thing that we need to do is to create two more prompt. Before that, let me just name this button so that there won't be any, sorry, there won't be any confusions. I'm gonna name this button as save. And the next one, I'm gonna let regenerate. Yeah, yeah, regenerate. Fine. So just to avoid some confusions, okay. So like I said, we need to have one query. So I'm gonna create the second query that I want. And in this chat, I'm gonna say that um, act as a this is how you craft a prompt, act as a product uh, marketer or a product promoter, whatever that you are requiring, and form a better title for this thing. So before that, I need to link it, right? So let me link the default value as uh, components dot list view dot data. Let me just select it. Sorry, I'm selecting this one, and I'm gonna click on edit, and I'm gonna come here and data dot list view dot selected like code. Dot text one. 1 second, let me just select the table again. Yeah. And it should be showing it. Components dot list view one selected row dot text view dot text, or just one dot text. This one should be over here. Yeah, we need the title over here, that is selected row dot text to dot text. Yeah, I've successfully linked the titles from over here and here. So if I click on this list and go over here, and you will be seeing the product name and product description over here. Okay. Now, like I said, let's continue creating the prompt. So now I want to ask ChatGPT to act as a product promoter and form a better title for the selected one. So this is components dot list view one dot selected row dot text one dot text, or text two dot text. Yeah. So now when I run this prompt, I should be getting a, yeah. So I'm gonna get a review back, right? So right now this seems more of like a statement rather than a title, right? So you can just effectively create much more prompt. For example, you can create a prompt like this, ask it, and you can say that you only need 4 words maximum. You can set the constraints accordingly to your needs. For example, I'm gonna ask it to only give me 4 words maximum. Okay, so let me run it. Yeah, and now the title seems like at least like much better, right? And one more thing, if you note over here, is that it's gonna give me a title inside double quotes. So when you are replacing it over here, it might not look good, right? So what you can do is you can transform the data and get rid of the double quote. So I already have the transformation code over here to remove the double quotes, and you can transform the data by putting the code over here and just click on run. If you see that this time the double quotes won't be there, so you can directly use this data and put it inside any text input or any uh, product description or whatever for your information. Same thing, we can do it for creating the second prompt, that is for the product description. I already have it over here. Yeah, I'm gonna ask it to act as a product promoter and create a description for the product description value that I'm getting it from here. This one is, let me just say, text input to dot value. I'm getting the data from here. And just to make things like much more clear, it will be like much better in the long run when you do production level application if you could rename the text input or the text label or the text name over here. I'm gonna just give it as product description, product desk, and I'm gonna put it over here at product description, and it should work. Yeah, as you can see, it is working, right? So same thing I can do over here for the product name. I'm gonna put it as product name. That is, this is like much more clear now, right? Yeah. For the first prompt also, I'm gonna put as product name. Otherwise, when you are working for complicated things, it might get a bit complicated and really hard to read if someone else is working on your application. So it's a much better practice if you could do it like this. Yeah. And I'm gonna name it product name. Right. and it should give you the same thing only. And like I said, if you don't transform your data, what's going to happen is that it's going to give out double quotes. And when you reflect it over into a text input, the double quotes will be shown, and we don't really want that. So now something that you can do is in the regenerate button, let's link our OpenAI prompt that we created by clicking on new, add new event handler. Yeah, sorry about that. My internet is a bit slow. And just click on run query. And for the first one, let's create the prompt. Link the prompt that we created, that is OpenAI 2. And second one is same thing only. On click, run query, OpenAI 3, right? And maybe one more thing that you can do is the moment this query has finished running, I want to update it over here, right? So the moment that query has finished running, let me update it. That is for the description, I'm going to add a new event handler once the query is successfully run. And instead of, if you go down, you can see that you can control the component, right? So you can control the component, and I want to control this component, that is product name. The product name should be, I can set the text, and product name should be this thing, queries dot OpenAI 2 dot data, right? This is what we wanted, right? Oh, this one is for the description, sorry. OpenAI 3 dot data. No problem. And yeah, and for the second query, the moment it finished running, I want to show it over here, right? So the moment it's finished running, you can add a new event listener on query success, control a component, and I want to control the product name, and I want to set the text, and the text should be queries dot OpenAI 2 dot data. Perfect. Now, one last thing you might want to do is you want to save this thing, right? So for saving, if you want to directly save it into the database, you will need to add another query to save it. For example, since I'm using ToolJet database, I'm going to add ToolJet database again. And this time, I'm going to say product db update. And the table name is the table that we're using, that is product. Make sure to link everything perfectly. And the operation is this time I want to update the row. Okay. Now, I added a text input or the ID earlier, right? You might be wondering why exactly did I add an ID? So it is basically for making sure that when I update the title and description, it doesn't update every single table or every single uh, columns or rows in the database. Will this be getting recorded? Yeah, it will be getting recorded, no problem. And it will be in YouTube. Okay. Anyway, I was saying, the reason I added an ID over here is that you need to filter out the condition. For example, update that table, row or column only if the ID is equal to the table's ID that we are trying to update. So for example, let me choose this table, and this time the ID is components dot list u1 selected record ID or selected row ID. So let me just select this. And this one is text 3. So instead of record row ID, select the text ID. Selected record dot, I want to go to text 3. So that is text 3 dot text. Just maximize it in case you find any difficulties. Yeah, and you will be getting it. So if I'm selecting this row, and when I click on edit, I will be getting this as, yeah, I will be getting this as 14, right? Same thing if I am doing for the first one. This one I should be returning, it should be returning back as 12. And if I check over here, it will be returning back 12. So that right now I'm asking the database to only update if the ID matches the ID in the table, so that it doesn't update all the table that all the rows in the table. Okay. So, okay, fine. Now this is done. Now what I want to do is that I want to update the column. So add column. I want to update the product name. So for this one, I'm going to say components dot product name dot value. I want to update the product table with the value that is given over here after regenerating. Same thing for here. I want to update the product description, that is by components dot product description dot value. Fine. Everything seems to be perfect. And the moment I click on the save, you might want to close the model. So that also you can do. So when you click on the model, you will be closing it. And also you might want to reload the data that is given behind this, right? So after updating it, you need to reload the data that is given in the listed row. So for that, you can create a new event handler after this query is updated, saying that once query is successful, I want to run a query. And the query should be our main query that is getting the data again from the database. So I'm going to click on product DB over here. Okay. Now, important part is to link the save button with the query that we created. So on click, I want to run the query saying that product should update the database with the regenerated value that I created over here. And maybe we can have one more query, that is to close the model once you click on save. So let me have one more, that is to control, or you can have it directly over here, close model, on click, close model, model one, right? Now let's test everything out. Let's see if it is working. I don't need this. I'm gonna disable this since I already have a custom button. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check and regenerate the product name and the product description, and I'm gonna save it to the database accordingly with it. So I'm gonna click on edit. I wanna regenerate this product name, regenerate, and it is suggesting me another product name. Now I wanna regenerate the description also. That is regenerate. Oh, sorry. It is getting updated over here. 1 second. I linked something wrong. So OpenAI 3, the moment it gets completed, it should update. Oh, sorry. This should be product description. Yeah. And the text should be components dot product description dot value, right? Okay, let's try again. Now it should be working completely. I'm clicking on edit. I want to regenerate a name for my product. So I'm going to regenerate the name for my product. And it suggested me a new name. I want to regenerate a description for my product. Oh, you need to run this once so that, yeah, everything is working. So I want to regenerate one product description. There seems to be some problem. High quality nose, query successful, control component, product description, set text. Oh, sorry. This should be our query that we regenerated, right? So queries dot OpenAI 3 dot data. OpenAI 3 dot data, right? Cool. Let's try again. I'm going to click on regenerate. Yeah, the data is changed. Now we have to save it to the database, right? And we will see if our product description has been updated already. So just keep an eye on this name. That is wireless sound revolution. I'm going to click on save. And yeah, as you can see, our product name and product description have been updated and added to the database. So this is a second use case or a second application that you can create on top of ToolJet. if you want. So the ones I showcased was that I use the sentimental analysis that is available using OpenAI model to get feedback and detect sentiment and use it accordingly in your project. There are other things like you can automate a lot of customer support, or even if you want to create your own chat GPT using OpenAI, that is also possible. You can also, something that I didn't cover over here is that you can, use forecasting, demand forecasting using ToolJet. For example, like I said, if you can give it enough historical data, it can even predict, more future, what's going to happen in the future, and allocate resources accordingly with that. And the last one, like I said, you can have personalized marketing. That is the one that I covered, where you can ask ChatGPT. Sorry, you can ask ChatGPT to regenerate the title, etc., everything accordingly with it, right? So that is some use cases. Do you guys have any questions regarding any potential use case on your mind, or anything that you might want to build on top of it? I will be putting the session in ToolJet official YouTube channel also, so you can check out this. And for more use case, a lot of people have built a lot of crazy stuff. Like, for example, they have, like I said, they have created their own ChatGPT wrapper, a personalized assistant. Even they have programmed some OpenAI assistant to build something similar to Jarvis from Iron Man, Avengers, and all these stuff. So the use case is pretty much unlimited accordingly with your creativity. You can fully use your creativity to build anything you want, and ToolJet literally helps you support it. The entire thing can be built in like less than 50 minutes if you are fully aware of the platform. Yeah. Any more Q&A? Any more questions that you wanna ask me? Okay. So to learn more regarding this, you can go to our official documentations. 1 second. Yeah. Official docs, that is docs.tooljet.com. And if you go to our platform, or you just search for OpenAI, and it is under our marketplace plugin. You can see what we have documented over here if you have any questions. And right now I have been covering chat mainly. So yeah, like I said, we have described more optional parameters over here for you to check out. And completion is also available. For example, you can type something and ask ChatGPT to complete it once upon a time, and complete the story, whatever it is. You can use that also. So just do check out our documentation and you will get more idea regarding this. Yeah. If there is the same session for custom component, then it will be beneficial. Yeah, sure. Maybe for the next community call, we can look into custom components as a whole, and I can come up with 2 to 3 use cases. No problem. Awesome. Okay. Since there are no more questions, I think we can wind up the session. Thank you so much to everyone who joined, and have a great day or night.